Monitoring. Welcome to another deep dive about the video game industry. And it's going to be in multiple parts as seen here and in the title. Well, the crash was happening in the United States, North America to be more specific. Things are brewing. At the opposite sides of both oceans. You have a microcomputer revolution in Europe. Commodore 64, Amstrad CPC, Sinclair's ZX Spectrum, and Atari's 8-bit computers. The opposite side of the Pacific, micros from MSX, Sharp, and NEC. But the computer gaming in North America mostly handled Apple, and IBM. Rising games like Mule, Ultima, Space Quest, The Orient Trail, and more. In the Pacific, it led to the birth of franchises like Thunder Force and mostly halfway decent anime licenses, and the pachinko and mahjong games. The opposite side of the Atlantic, Monty on the Run, Ghostbusters, Jetpack, the birth lead to the birth of Rare. And you'll hear more about them as we go along. And Codemasters, they're still around today also. They're EA, they're still around, for better or worse, nearly 40 years later. Sierra's no longer around. Microprose is no longer around. You don't wash my face. It's getting blazing hot outside. No. In February, all times of the year. In February. Trammell founded Commodore in the late 70s. He was out and forced to sell the company because He's a complete bastard. He went to Atari. Going to Atari. If you crossed him, you're out of a job. No ifs, ands, or buts. But there's endless videos on here. Jack Trammell. Angry because he came from a very tragic background. Being a Holocaust survivor, he well, cause round it up. He was of Jewish descent. Fled to the States after the war ended. One of the most hard-nosed businessmen out there. Like, or like, in this, most of these micros, keyboard, mouse, and ports for the or joystick or controller. Ooh, the weekend wolf forget. Also in Japan, like the Sega and Nintendo, making way with own home console. And like Mark One and Mark Two from Sega, then move mini units. Mark Three, more the same in Japan. When it became available in the West as the Master System, it only gained traction in Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and Latin America. Oh, and with Nintendo releasing their own 1983 when they bought the Famicom, or at least the Famicom, brought over to the West as the NES 85, and it ended up single-handedly resurrecting the market in North America. After Mario, Duck Hunt, 10-Yard Fight, Kung Fu, among the top releases of the era. Master System was no pushover either. Safari Hunt, Dead Connection, Alex Kidd series, and both of the Japanese console, both in East and West, released. Released. He's a myriad of arcade ports. And it's a drastic improvement from the hardware. And Atari or ColecoVision television both have 2-button controller, a D-pad, and both distinctly different sounds. The music, distinctly different sound chips. Master System has chip, they like Texas Instruments, 3 square wave and 1 noise channel, or all 4 channels. The entire chip can pick. PC, PCM, but all 4 channels have to be used for the 1 PCM. You can Yamaha or Casio, Nintendo, Yamaha, Nintendo sound chip. Because there's 5 channels. Square, 2 triangle, 2 square, triangle, pulse, noise, and DAC, the 5th channel. Like the game music sounded drastically better in the living room. You hook up the antenna to hooking the hardware up to the coax. You heard me right. The news is playing the Sega didn't have that many games because of weak third-party support in North America. Nintendo most stringent, the most stringent exclusivity contract. You can only make a limited number of games a year. Due to a chip shortage. Like 5 is the max. Like some publishers create a second label to circumvent that. Like 10. They're releasing multiple games in a year. after the chip, you had to order 500,000 cartridges. And look, you have later period releases on the end. Mario, Fruit already quickly the strongest IP in gaming at the time. So, like Double Dragon and Card Warriors, Anticipation, your cult titles, Zuxies, well, XEXYZ, Mendo Palace, Euphoria, Library made up mostly cult titles, like Psycho Fox and Fantasy Star, to name a couple. The cult type. The cult. Strong late period. The strongest late period. Stronger late period title. The early adaptation of the early Sonic games. Earthworm Jim. And the Smurfs travel the world. I want to mention Lord of Darkness. They also had their own strong late period titles. Mega Man 6, 5 and 6 franchise. Had it start on the system, and